2 weeks ago we planted the peas in the garden. Now they're up about an inch, and if the weather stays warm, they're going to grow very, very quickly. The one thing with peas is you're going to find that they're going to grow very quick and they're going to want some support. Some people will put a couple stakes in the garden and put some netting or something for them to climb on, but you need a lot of support because you get a windy day after the peas are, say, 2 feet high, they'll all want to tend to blow over. So I again use these heavy tomato cages, and instead of just putting one in, I put several in a row. So I start right at the end of the row, and it's easiest to do this when they're still small and you don't do any damage. And I bend the bottoms a little bit so that they're straight in the ground. And you'll see that I'm putting the cages so that the tops almost touch. Now everything that grows up in between here is going to get wrapped around the cage. They're probably going to come up about 3 foot total height. These are shorter varieties and much easier to pick them. Keeps the peas off the ground. And when my peas are all done for the season, then I just pull my cages out and I'll reuse them for something else. But the peas, probably about 6 weeks, and we'll be able to start picking snow peas already. The weather's been warm enough now, we're going to start planting our melons. And I usually keep a good eye on the different varieties because some of the varieties are more compact. Some of the varieties spread immensely. So if you're planting squash, acorn squash or butternut squash, or any of the pumpkins, zucchini, they need a big area. We're talking probably 6 or 8 foot square minimum because they're really going to start to run through your garden. So that's why I have a larger section here that I'll just use for the melons, and lots of room for them to spread out. This is a variety called butternut squash called Ultra, one of the newer varieties on the market. It's going to give you some nice, probably 10-12 inch squash later in the summer. And this one's very easy to grow. I like the plants that are reseeded, have been seeded already and sprouted, and they've already got root in the pot. A lot of people who plant seeds in the garden, you have to have really good conditions and really warm weather, otherwise the seeds rot in the ground instead of sprout. So I like to just buy pre-finished plants. So the one thing about melons, they like warm soil, so don't plant them too deep. And gardeners who have heavier soils may want to plant them on a bit of a mound. So I'll do one here just to show you what I would do in a case like that. One way to get the soil warmer earlier in the season is to hill the soil up in an area so that it's about 6 inches higher than the surrounding ground. And because it's higher, it's going to drain quicker, right? So I'm basically making a mound, and then we'll flatten it out a little bit, and then actually plant in the mound. And if a farmer was doing it in the field, sometimes they'll just put a ridge in the field all the way down, and they'll plant it on top of the ridge. They take a little bit more water to get them started, but because that's raised up, it's going to warm up twice as fast as something that's in straight ground. This variety here is called Cantaloupe Halo. It's one of the hybrid varieties. You can see the pots are just about rooted again. Again, just plant it to the top of the soil ball and lightly firm it in. And what I like to do is I just leave a little bit of a water dish around it so that when I do water, all the water doesn't run off the hill and disappear. It'll slowly percolate down to the roots. All right. I like to do, again, 2 different varieties so that in one season, one variety may do better than the other, and the next year it can be the opposite. It all depends on the season. So same thing, I'm going to get a bit of a mound for these. Again, you don't want to bury the stems of the plant because they rot very easily and they're easy to break off as well. So put the tag in there again, and then we'll leave a bit of a water rim. And that's all there is for doing your melons.